Welcome back to the Miami Herald's preseason tour. I'm Andre Fernandez, and we're here with Miami High head coach Ivan Rosales. Coach, talk about the Stingarees coming up for this season. This is your second year at the helm over there, and what this team, how has this team improved in the summertime, and what are you most excited about looking at your squad going into the season?
Well, really, what I'm excited about is to see how they, last year we laid the foundation, put in a new system, a new offensive system, new defensive system. So now, we're going to be seeing how, the kids have already, pretty much learned it. We put in the work, so now it's just, seeing us how, we're going to be competitive in our district.
Year two's got to feel a lot better because now obviously you're way more acclimated with everything, the school, the kids, all that. Talk about just how difficult maybe the transition was last year and how long it took to really get that comfort zone going.
Well, to be honest with you, I think that it's obviously a transition period is never easy. But going into the season, I think taking over in spring was tough for us last year, very tough. But the first 2-3 games, the kids started buying into the system, understanding what we were all about, and pretty much from there, I think that they started believing in what we were doing. And having a young squad, every game, week to week, we saw the growth, and the confidence building.
How many of that squad comes back? Like, how many returning starters do you have? That kind of thing.
We have 10 returning starters on offense, and I believe we have 7 on defense. Okay. So again, pretty much we only graduated about 5 seniors.
So that's got to be a huge plus, I'm sure.
Absolutely, and like I was telling my assistant coach, that you see here a lot of schools coming in with senior players, and pretty much I have no seniors here. Right. We're all class of 16 heavy.
Right. So this is still a core group that you can keep together for a while.
Absolutely, and we have a sophomore quarterback, class of 17.
Yeah. Tell us about him. How's he come along?
Well, he's progressed. He at first obviously it's not easy, to being a ninth grader as a freshman and giving, trying to run an entire offense and having the pressure to deliver. Learning the system and the audible system also, we put a lot of pressure on the quarterback that we have to read certain defenses and check out of plays that might not be good for that type of defense. So we saw him progress. He has a strong arm, very athletic, and he showed that athleticism as the season progressed last year. So we're excited about this upcoming season.
Tell people his name. I forgot to say.
Theodore Murphy.
Who else are impact players that maybe people should keep an eye out for this year?
Well, impact player will be, Keyshawn Pye Young. I know we also have a newcomer by the name of Desmond Farrell who, should complement. No longer will they be able just to double team Pye. Mm-hmm. Because you double team Pye, he's going to be able to burn you on the other side.
And how about the defensive side of the ball? What's going on there? Tell us a little bit about what you're all about on that side.
On the defensive side of the ball, we last year we ran more of a 5-3, 5-2. This year we're going into more of a 4-4. Still being able to check off out of that, but we have stout defensive end, Radheen Latson, who is quick off the ball, very aggressive, and has a motor.
And going back to the whole transition period, last year. I know the school had undergone some renovations. What were some of the obstacles maybe people don't realize that you guys had to deal with compared to other schools that maybe have, in terms of facilities, that sort of thing?
Sure. Well, we had to commute. We had to commute to Curtis Park every day, which, half hour to, load the bus, get all the equipment on board. And so we will really lose about an hour of practice time. And then, the inclement weather, we didn't have really, like when you're on campus, you go into your locker room. And then you could come out 30 minutes later. But here, it was, sometimes we had to call practice and, buses have to come and pick us up. So just that logistically, it was tough. But again, nothing worthwhile is easy. And now we have our, beautiful school, completely renovated, and we have our field back. So, we're excited to actually be able to be there, be at home.
Yeah, definitely got to help, for sure, to be able to have that, that ease again, to be able to adjust to weather. Like you said, sometimes you get like one or 2 day practice week, unfortunately, that kind of thing. Let me ask you just about also a hot topic right now is I'm sure you saw the whole thing where Miami-Dade is thinking of implementing a steroid testing program. I guess what are your thoughts on that, and just going forward, how it seems like the county is going to make an effort to try and crack down on that.
Well, obviously, I mean, number one concern is the health of the players, and just to be able to make sure that the players are not, because I mean, there's a lot of pressure for young kids to try to be bigger. They hear rumors that, hey, maybe you got guys that are might take steroids and maybe get to the next level. So and at the end of the day, I mean, again, their health and sometimes long-term consequences to that. So I mean, I welcome the steroids testing as long as it's done fairly and across the board. I don't obviously, again, is the health of the players and number one a priority.
In your coaching career, have you had to deal with situations like that, and how have you dealt with it, if so?
No, I haven't. To be honest with you, I don't think that steroids is as far as in my experience has been a big part of the game. Now you have you hear rumors here and there, but as far as me having experienced something like that, not really.
And going back to one last thing, the Miami High, obviously the Miami High tradition, for many years, how much do you still hear that whole thing of people hoping that Miami High can restore, some football pride again? Obviously the basketball team's got the great tradition still going, but what does this team have to do to kind of start to little by little get back to that? Do you hear a lot about that still around campus?
Of course, baby steps. I'm a class of 1991. I played in a Dade County, championship team. So, I mean, I know the tradition, and the alumni, they know the tradition. I mean, it's incredible. We've gotten a lot of support, and yes, Miami High historically in recent years is a basketball school, as they call it. But we're planning to change that. We're planning to make it not only a basketball school, but also a football school.
Well, thank you, Coach. We appreciate it, and we wish you guys the best of luck. Hope to see Miami High make the rise again.
Appreciate it.